This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org here at the Bitcoin Center here in New York City, and I'm joined by Judd Bagley, who's the Communications Director of OverStock. Now, first of all, OverStock is one of the first companies, major companies, that has taken Bitcoin in. And I was wondering, what effect has Bitcoin had on OverStock?
Well, you can look at this on a few different levels. In the first place, we've generated in the first year about $3 million of revenue that we would not have brought into the company otherwise. So that's a big deal. It's also brought in a different type of client. These are people who are very ideologically driven. They're very supportive of us because they appreciate what we're doing. So these are folks who these are customers that we acquired very inexpensively, and they come back. It's in retail. The big challenge is not just getting a person to buy the first time. You need to get them. If you can get them to buy a second time within 30 days, they're yours. And because that means if assuming they have a good experience both times, they'll be back, and they'll be not just customers, they'll be advocates. And we want that. We find our Bitcoin consumers are advocates. They come back regularly. They buy more than the average shopper. The average shopper on our site spending fiat spends about $160 per transaction. If they're paying with Bitcoin, they spend $200 and up. Now, if they're international and they're paying with Bitcoin, they spend up to $800. It's really striking. So this is a solid group that we want to have shopping on our site. We want to keep them as advocates and make them loyal. We want to make them have a great experience. But it works out very well. We're very happy to have Bitcoiners shopping on OverStock.
Now we know Bitcoin has opened up a whole nother world of innovation. It's a whole nother way of paying. It's a whole new technology that people are slowly getting into. There's been a lot of up and downs, but when it comes to OverStock and Bitcoin, what kind of innovations, what kind of new products do you guys have working and going on right now that we should know about?
Well, so the decision to accept Bitcoin was kind of twofold. There's a business decision, but there's also a philosophical decision. The philosophical decision is based on this idea that currency is too important a thing to leave in control of governments. And it's the sort of thing that it's wrong that some government bureaucrat can sign into existence trillions of dollars, just like that. We like Bitcoin because it has a lot of the virtues of gold, in the sense that it is numeric, it's mathematically constrained. So it's inflation proof. It's not regulated by any one government or any one central authority. We like that. So we're big fans of Bitcoin philosophically as well. So as we stand back and look at what can we do to further increase adoption of Bitcoin, one of the things we're considering doing is seeing if it's possible to take all our many, many millions of customers, on the order of tens of millions, and give them each a Bitcoin wallet, and then push to them some instruction on exactly how to use it. And maybe let some percentage of them dip their toes in and kind of get a sense for how it works, feel comfortable with it, have it not be some foreign thing to them. We'll kind of be doing our part that way. We're also looking at using Bitcoin technology, by which I mean blockchain technology, trying to move other business practices to it. Some of these don't even have anything to do with OverStock proper. We're creating a company to be spun off eventually independently. We're calling it Medici for now, after the Medici Bank of Florence, that was essentially the catalyst for the Renaissance. We're building an alternate stock exchange, essentially a market where people can go and trade shares of public companies the same way they trade Bitcoin. In other words, these will be digital tokens, each one representing a share of a company that can be traded peer-to-peer. So avoiding so many of these, every layer wants to take its share. We're eliminating a lot of them, and we're also doing this in such a way that we're avoiding a lot of the problems inherent to the current system, specifically those which are injected through the process of centralized settlement of stock trades. The DTCC, for those who are maybe part of the Occupy Wall Street crowd, they'll know what I'm referring to there. So that's a big push inside the company right now to create this other again, alternate stock exchange that we can eventually then spin this out and turn it into its own company. Just figuring that maybe there's probably some money to be made, but maybe more importantly, we're trying to kind of push that ox cart of civilization forward a few yards.
With more transparency, with more oversight, especially with the blockchain, will you guys be using Bitcoin or another form of alternative currency when it comes to using cryptocurrency in this kind of new, could you call it even a New York Stock Exchange?
Well, I wouldn't call it a New York Stock Exchange. It's like it's a borderless stock exchange. Now, granted, we're going to be we're an American company. We'll be subject to the American regulatory regime. Hopefully, along the way, maybe we can improve it a little bit too. But for now, it's I guess we just call it an alternative market for the exchange of securities of public companies. So. Yeah, it's and we're doing it on the blockchain now. As far as whether or not we're using Bitcoin, certainly people could use Bitcoin to buy this stuff, but the majority of people will probably come into it. They'll have to exchange their dollars into maybe some kind of a USD coin or something like that, then convert that into the token, and then use that to then trade with other people. So Bitcoin's certainly an option. This will happen on the blockchain proper, and then on other side chains, as they're calling them. We're going to be able to write to and to work with, hopefully all of the, blockchain type technologies.
Now, will companies need to willingly participate in this, or are you guys integrating it so people could just go into it right away and participate with any company that they want?
No, companies we're going to have to sign up. So we're going to prove the concept with OverStock at some point, and then open it up to other companies to come along and input their. And convert some of their shares into these tokens, and then allow trading to begin that way. We figured that there are a lot of larger companies that are going to want to do this, but one of our markets we think initially is going to be kind of small companies that would like to access the public equity markets, but for a number of reasons, including the inefficiencies that result in manipulation. There are a lot of companies that don't dare enter the public markets because it's expensive and the chips are frankly stacked against them. They don't want to get involved. Anyway, we think this could be the perfect solution for them. So we see a lot of companies maybe going public that otherwise wouldn't, and we'd like them to go public on our platform.
With cryptocurrencies, with a blockchain, with complete oversight and transparency.
Precisely. Yep.
Wow. That sounds really amazing, and I'm really intrigued that Overstock is taking this kind of advantage because, again, Bitcoin is such a new world that it hasn't been divulged into. But one of the main things that's going up against Bitcoin is government regulations and government controls. Can you tell us about some of the kind of challenges you face when it comes to regulations, when it comes to government and implementing some of these changes and these new innovations that you guys are talking about making?
Well, it's interesting that, one of the reasons why we feel deeply dissatisfied with the status quo is the regulatory regime in America. We feel like the SEC is not the entity best equipped to regulate securities markets. We feel that is a responsibility that probably lies within the Department of Justice. Okay, but the SEC is the regulator we have, so it's the one we're going to work with. We're dedicating substantial resources to figuring out how to navigate these waters, because when we finally do present this to them, we expect a lot of blank stares in return, because this will be something that, as far as we know and we believe, they will have never been presented with anything even remarkably close, even mildly close, even in the same universe as this sort of thing. So it's going to be, to say it's not going to be a challenge would be a lie. It is going to be a challenge. We feel, though, that this approach to business, that moving business to the blockchain is an inevitability. This is going to have to be done. Might as well be us that are the ones that go in and kind of, establish these precedents, get this, again, move that ox cart of humanity forward a few yards. So we'll take one for the team. We're going to be the ones that do this. And it will be difficult. We've had conversations with another regulatory agency called the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. They get this, and we're encouraged that hopefully there are bright lights like that within the SEC that we can work with as well. Whatever it takes, we're going to do this completely within the current regulatory regime, this will all be completely compliant. There's no question about that.
Wow.
But we have no choice that way. But it will be, and that has the effect then of allowing people to feel secure. Investors will feel secure using our platform, and public companies will feel secure using our platform too. So it's in everybody's best interest to go about it that way.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword because people like the kind of security with Bitcoin of being anonymous, and people also want to invest into Bitcoin because they know it's a way of the future. It's a way of kind of innovating a way of currency that can't be innovated, that can't be controlled, that can't be too regulated like USD can. What are your hopes and goals for this kind of new innovative project that you guys have going for you?
Well, it'd be nice. I mean, there are a lot of people that go into a business and they try to figure out how they can have a monopoly. We have no interest in having a monopoly. This is a gigantic market. We're hoping many others come along and follow our lead. Take a piece of the market and maybe even innovate a little on what we've done, and together to basically jointly change the whole way that the whole way finance is done in America and hopefully in the world. So it's we aren't trying to get in and then shut the door behind us. We're going to get in and leave the door open and hope others come in and follow us. And we can learn from them. They can learn from us. Competition's always good. So more than anything, we just want to change the way business happens. Yeah.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Judd. Communications Director of OverStock. Really fascinating news that you guys are breaking here today. Wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.